Today, I want to talk about living in the absolutes. And today's topic came from a comment that I just received on one of my recent YouTube videos here. And it was a concern about fasting raising cortisol levels. So I'm going to post the comment because it was publicly placed on my YouTube channel so we can all see it. And I want to address today's conversation based on this specific comment because I get a lot of comments like this, and it does really go with the overall message I want to get to you today, and that is living in the absolutes. So welcome to today's video. My name is Ann Parham. I am the creator of the online course and community, the Intermittent Fasting for Today's Aging Woman, as well as our midlife mindset course and community. We do everything here from the mindset approach, meaning how are we thinking about some of these lifestyle choices that we are making, and how are they ultimately allowing us to look and feel, and do they provide an opportunity for us to live our most authentic life? If you can answer yes to those things, then the scientific data or all of this information that we are researching from the quote unquote experts won't really matter to you because you're getting everything that you want from a lifestyle that you have created. Ultimately, we hope to have a happy and healthy life. When we live in the absolutes, we are living in a state of fear and we're living in a state of doubt. And a lot of that doubt is geared toward us or points back to us. We don't believe that the thing is going to work for us, or we don't believe we're capable of getting the results that everyone else is claiming that they're getting. So in short, fasting 100% raises your cortisol levels, but that doesn't necessarily have to be a negative thing. Getting up in the morning raises your cortisol levels. Moving about your day and your daily activities raises cortisol levels. Cortisol is a hormone that we need in our life to keep us energized, up and moving and alert. But when we couple a thought about cortisol being a negative thing with something like fasting, because we don't believe that fasting is right for us, you're living in an absolute. You absolutely believe this piece of information that you just heard without giving yourself the benefit of the doubt. The truth about cortisol is that we're always in a state of heightened cortisol. Again, it keeps us alert, it keeps us alive, it keeps us moving. And there are a lot of things in our everyday life that also contribute to higher cortisol levels in our body, especially if you're thinking about the negative aspects of cortisol levels being high. Caffeine intake, stress in your life, eating processed food, consuming alcohol, being with people who are a wrong or bad influence for you, not having good social connections, having bad sleeping habits. There are so many things that can contribute to high cortisol levels. Yet, with a comment like this, probably based on someone on the internet who said, as a matter of fact, fasting raises cortisol levels, therefore you should not fast. That absolute thought is going to keep you possibly from something that could benefit you in many ways. The thing about fasting that is so magical is it can also heal your body in some amazing ways, which could in fact correct cortisol levels being high in a negative way. But if you go into something like fasting or even exercise or changing any of your lifestyle habits from a negative net effect to a positive net effect, the change in and of itself is difficult. And if you go into it with a negative mindset, or the thought, I just can't get this result, or it's really hard for me, I can't even imagine, whatever it is you're going in with in that negative or fixed mindset. Fixed mindset just basically means that your brain's not going to allow for you to have any other thoughts or possibilities that the outcome can be different. Then yeah, you're probably going to be stressed out because your brain's going to have stressed out thoughts. But if you go into something like fasting or changing your exercise routine or starting an exercise routine or changing your nutritional habits or eliminating stress from your life, changing the people who you allow to influence you, all of those things can yield you a net benefit effect with your cortisol and can also allow you to have an open mind, or what we like to call a growth mindset. What if I just go into fasting or exercising or cutting out processed foods or eliminating alcohol for X amount of time? And if I go all in with a thought that this might actually work for me, I just never gave it an honest shot. And if I go all in for 3 months or 6 months or a year, and I go into it with a thought that this could be something that's beneficial to me, and you create a lifestyle for yourself that allows for some flexibility and some ebb and flow when life happens, and you learn how to be really, really honest with yourself about the choices that you're making, you just might be surprised at the benefits you can get from something that you thought wasn't possible for you. So, my message today is stay out of the absolutes. There's never just one thing that's going to cause a problem for us. It's not just fasting that raises cortisol levels. It's not just a bad diet that's going to make you sick. It's not just whatever it is you fill in the blank that's going to be the end result of something that's going to be a negative net effect in your life. It's always the tiny little things that add up together that end up putting us in a place where we're like, whoa, how did that happen? It slowly happened over time with little decisions that you've made that just accumulated up into a problem. Here's the beauty about that. You can do the same exact thing with positive things and end up reversing a lot of the things that you are currently unhappy with. If you do tiny little incremental changes in the positive direction over time, meaning you don't quit on yourself, you don't throw your hands up in the air, you don't fall off the invisible wagon or throw in the towel that doesn't exist, you might actually give yourself an opportunity to yield some really positive benefits from some lifestyle changes. My advice to you is do not fall into the absolutes. If you Google search, does fasting raise cortisol levels, you will find the answer to your question. If you Google what are the positive benefits of fasting, you will also find the answer to your question. So be very careful about how you're asking the questions and be very careful who you're listening to. Do not listen to the absolutes. Test some things out for you. Become your own science project. Remember, scientific data is amazing and it's a really great foundation for us to have a starting place from. But if you were not invited to be a participant in that scientific data, then you also may not be a person that could benefit from the end result of that science project. But test it out for you. You can then eliminate some things or incorporate some things, and you'll do it from a very positive mindset. That is what we call the mindset shift approach here in our community. If you have any questions about intermittent fasting or the positive effects of intermittent fasting, or is intermittent fasting something that might be applicable to you, always feel free to reach out to me. You can leave a comment in the comment section below. I am someone who does not suffer from high cortisol levels. I have been fasting for 8 years. I exercise almost every day, sometimes twice a day. I just had my cortisol level tested and it is perfect. Don't fall into the scare tactics and don't fall into the absolutes. Do what works best for you, do what feels good for you, and give yourself the benefit of the doubt. And one of those things that we want to do with the benefit of the doubt is if you're worried about your cortisol levels, get them tested and then inventory your entire life. Are you consuming too much alcohol? Are you consuming too much caffeine? Are you not getting enough water? How much processed food are you eating? Like there's a million questions that you can ask yourself to determine what some of those other factors might be with your cortisol levels. I hope this gives you some encouragement to try some new things. Hey, here's the truth. Intermittent fasting is not for everyone, and that is totally okay. If you don't want to be someone who uses fasting as a lifestyle approach to looking and feeling your best, there's probably something out there that will work beautifully for you. But please do not think that just because it didn't work for you, that fasting overall is a negative thing. It is benefiting so many people, and there's so many great things that you can get from fasting if you feel like it's a thing that's going to work for you. As always, I include our information for our next intermittent fasting class down below in the description box. I also make sure I put a little card up here if you want to click on that. We will have a class starting at the end of January, depending on when you're watching this. We would love to have you in class with us. I help you figure out for you if this is a lifestyle that will work for you based on what it is you say you really want for yourself. Not what I want, but what you want for yourself. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I'll see you guys in the next video.